Stephen Hodges is asking, would you consider killing Lucas when you feel the Prey series is done?
No, I would not kill Lucas off. The reason for that is that I get quite a bit of money every year from the backstory, and my editors told me that if I kill off Lucas, I kill off the back books. And so, you know, the royalties, I'm very fond of my royalties. And, you know, it's like my little garden that I try to keep growing. And if I kill off Lucas, that could be the end of my royalties. So.
Tash Pratton is wondering, what clicked in your head to start writing, and what goes on in your brain to come up with the characters?
What got me going in the past was that I could sense that my newspaper career was kind of coming to an end. After a while, you've done most of the things you want to do in the newspaper business, especially if you don't want to go into management. And I didn't. I wanted to be a reporter. But the reporting was getting old. I had done almost everything, you know, a few times. I'd covered national conventions. I'd covered national disasters. I had seen an awful lot of dead people. I covered an awful lot of crime. I covered politics. I covered all that stuff. And I'd gotten to the age where I was doing it like the fifth time. And, you know, the fifth time around is not as interesting. So I began looking for something else to do. I considered writing nonfiction books and actually wrote 2 nonfiction books. But nonfiction, there are a lot of really good writers who are specialists in their fields. And I just decided it'd probably be best to leave that to them. And so that I've always been interested in thrillers. Thrillers were doing really well at that time when I started writing them. And so, you know, I wrote one and it didn't sell, and I wrote another one and it did. And that's just, I just kept rolling along.
One of your old-time fans, Chet Carlson, you've met him a number of times at, not Once Upon a Crime. What's the one in Minneapolis? Is that Once Upon a Crime?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting the names confused of the stores. What are the pros and cons of collaborating with friends on the Flowers novels versus the more solitary approach of writing the Prey novels?
Well, when I first started out, I was not sure that I was able to write 2 novels a year. And so what they would do is that they would set the book up for me. You know, I would talk to them as they went through this process. All of them read my books. And so they knew, you know, the main concept of the stories. But then they would have to come up with their own story, and then they would have to outline how the story was going to work, and they would have to develop the characters, and they'd have to develop the situation. And so that when I came to it, it was really just a matter of writing stuff down. The hardest part of doing the Lucas Davenport novels by myself is trying to actually develop the story, try to develop the incidents that come along in kind of some kind of logical process. It takes a lot of thinking. What happened with the Virgil Flowers novels when I was writing them with my friends is that we were always talking a lot. I mean, the last guy that I worked with, a couple of the guys I worked with were guys I played golf with all the time, and we would actually go out and play golf and talk about it. So as they talked about it, though, you know, the stories would be developing as I was writing a Davenport book. They'd be developing a Virgil book, so that by the time they finished the development, I'd be finished with the Davenport book, and then I could go right into writing the Virgil, and I would know the whole story. And when I know the whole story, I can write a lot of words. And so that helped me get through the Davenport books. And I mean, excuse me, that helped me get through the Virgil books. And that was just an important thing at the time. Now I'm going to try to, you know, this last one I wrote on my own, and it was a struggle. I mean, you know, because it wasn't set up in advance, and I really had to push it hard.
Stuart Roberts saying, I'm still upset that you killed off Marcy Sherrill. Why did you do that?
There are a couple reasons for killing off Marcy. One of them is that a famous writer once said that, you know, when you get stuck in a thriller, just have a guy come through the door with a gun. You know, it doesn't make any difference, you know, what you're doing, just have a guy come through the door with a gun. And that solves a lot of your problems right there. And he's right. You know, you just, any thriller is going to have a sequence of events leading to a climax. You get stuck in that sequence, have a guy come through the door with a gun, that's a metaphor for some kind of, you know, real dramatic action
Yeah.
that's kind of unexpected and comes out of nowhere. That's one thing. The other thing is that I think that every once in a while you got to slap the readers around a little bit. And the reason why is this gives people a sense that they're in some way dealing with the unpredictability of reality, that you don't know what's going to happen. So you know, and I kind of milk that with Marcy Sherrill in that book, because I kind of build her up and made her really likable and build her up a little bit more, and then boom, she's killed. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to transmit a sense that anything could happen in these books. And so now in the current book, Dell gets shot. We still don't know how bad he's shot. We know that he's had to have some further work and further medical work, and we don't know exactly what the outcome is yet. And I don't know what the outcome is yet. So the reason for doing that is all of those things. You kind of create a climate within the series, and you know, and then you have the guy comes through with the door of the guns syndrome. You know,
Yeah.
that gets you another 15,000 words down the road, and you need about 100,000 for a book.
I still sort of, Emily wants to take the blame. She actually revels in taking the blame for that planning session of we need to kill someone, but who should we kill? And Emily says, how about we kill Cheryl? It's like, would that work? Does that accomplish our goal? And at the end of the day, it did.
Yeah, it did, and not a bad idea either.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, you know, it's sort of like I was talking about retiring Sloan. You know, he had his fans, and the thing is that I just kind of moved him off stage because it was time for him to retire.
And not all the characters are the same age. Everyone has their own different arc, and it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
not part of the main plot of the story because retirement just kind of happens.
I had
Death just kind of happens.
I had another person ask me, you know, in addition to whether I was going to have Letty be in some more books, people have asked me if I'm going to have the woman cop in this latest book, if they were going to Catherine, if she is going to be the focus of another series of books, maybe another series, she's going to join the BCA. Is she going to join the BCA with this really tough history and become Davenport's replacement? I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bad idea, but you know, because she's pretty harsh too. She's pretty much of a Davenport type character.
Even if it's not in a Lucas book, that could certainly be in the background of a Lucas book. You know, if Lucas goes off to Wyoming or something, he could hear that. Oh yeah, Caitlin's really shaken up the BCA. She's already gotten herself 4 demerits.
And the I mean, there are a number of people who could in these books who could be spun off. But you know, I just don't know if I'm going to have time to do that, or whether people would really like it. But so, you know, that kind of stuff is out there all the time.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was the last question that I've got, so I'm just going to shut down this session. Thank you for watching. Watch the other videos, and have a nice day.
Thank you.